Life in America moves fast, cities glowing through the night. People chasing deadlines, dreams, and breaths all at once. But even in a country filled with opportunity, some hearts quietly ache for direction. That's where our story begins, with an ordinary person, standing at the edge of doubt and potential, wondering which side to choose. Every morning, the alarm rings like a reminder. There is more inside you, but the weight of responsibilities and expectations always tries to silence that voice. Whether you live in a small Midwest town or a crowded East Coast city, that internal battle is the same. The world outside is loud, but the voice inside is louder, whispering, "Rise, because your story isn't over yet." There's a moment in everyone's life when standing still becomes painful, when comfort feels like a cage. Our character feels it too. They walk past people hustling through the streets, take the subway with tired faces, scroll through social media filled with highlight reels, and wonder why they feel stuck while the rest of the world seems to be racing. But what they don't know is that the feeling of being stuck is the first sign of being ready to grow. It means something deep within is preparing for change, pushing them forward even if they can't see the path yet. That's the quiet beginning of every rise. One morning hits differently. The same alarm rings, but this time it sparks Somethina's sense of urgency. They look in the mirror and finally recognize the exhaustion in their eyes. Not from work, not from life, but from holding back their own potential. They ask themselves a question most people avoid. What if I'm meant for more than this? And in that moment, everything shifts. Not dramatically, not with fireworks, but with a subtle knowing. This is the moment that separates those who remain the same from those who transform. Change in America often begins with a thought, a dream, or a whisper that refuses to die. They go about their day, but the thought follows them. At work, during lunch, while driving home, the question echoes. What if? What if the dreams they buried are still waiting? What if the failures weren't endings, but lessons? What if, despite everything, they still have time? And in that question grows desire. Desire becomes clarity. Clarity becomes motivation. Motivation becomes a spark. And that spark becomes the moment they decide to rise. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. But now. Rising sounds powerful, but the first steps are messy. Doubt becomes louder. Fear becomes heavy. Memories of past failures come back like ghosts saying, "Stay where you are." It's the internal tug-of-war that every American faces when trying to improve their life, the fear of trying again. Our character feels the trembling inside their chest as old insecurities return to battle. What if I fail again? What if people laugh? What if I'm not enough? These questions don't come from weakness, they come from being human. But courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving while fear walks beside you. So they start small. They wake up a little earlier. They take time to breathe. They write down their goals. They stop apologizing for dreaming big. And slowly, the struggle begins to turn. Each day they push forward. The fear loses a little of its power. And for the first time in a long time, hope begins to feel real, not a fantasy, but a possibility worth fighting for. Once the internal walls start to break, determination flows like fuel. Our character begins to reclaim control over their time, their mindset, their habits. They learn that success in America isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. They realize that the people they admire weren't born confident, they became confident through discipline. So they commit. They show up, even when tired. Even when discouraged, even when no one notices. They read books that feed their mind. They listen to motivational speeches. They cut out negativity. They surround themselves online or in person with people who want to grow, not complain. And thus they do a powerful truth emerges. Environment shapes evil. The right voice at the right time can save a life. And now, with new energy, new vision, and new fire, they move forward with purpose. Every step becomes a promise to the person they dream of becoming. Days turn into weeks, and progress turns into momentum. The person who once doubted their own ability now begins to see small victories. The weight on their shoulders feels lighter. The work feels meaningful. The fear, though still present, no longer controls their decisions. They stop comparing themselves to others because they finally understand that success is not a race, it's a journey. Their journey, and with every breakthrough comes a deeper belief. The belief that their life has value, their voice matters, their dreams matter, and the limits they once accepted were never real. They were built from fear, pressure, and past pain. Now those limits begin to crumble, and underneath the rubble stands someone new, someone rising. This is where the transformation becomes undeniable. Their posture changes, their decisions become bolder, their presence becomes stronger. They speak with clarity, they act with purpose, they dream with confidence. The rise is not about achieving perfection, it's about refusing to stay small. Our character embraces challenges instead of fearing them, because now they understand that diamonds are made under pressure, and they, too, are becoming unbreakable. The world around them starts to notice, not because they shout their success, but because their energy has changed. Growth is visible like light shining from within, and for the first time, they feel proud, not of what they've achieved, but of who they are becoming. They realize that rising isn't a destination, it's a lifestyle, a daily choice, a commitment to never give up, no matter what stands in the way. Inspiration spreads silently, like warmth in a cold room. People around them, friends, co-workers, families start noticing the change. They ask questions. They seek guidance. Not because the journey was easy, but because it was real. In America, people look for hope in everyday stories. And now this story becomes that hope. Our character begins to understand that rising is not just about lifting yourself, it's about lifting others. Their resilience becomes someone else's courage. Their progress becomes someone else's motivation. Their story becomes someone else's reminder that it's never too late to start again. They realize that the world doesn't change through perfection, it changes through people brave enough to grow openly. And now we arrive at the moment where everything comes together. The doubt, the fear, the awakening, the rise, the transformation. Every step mattered. Every failure taught something. Every tear watered strength. Every setback built character. And now, standing stronger than ever, they send a message to the world. Message to you. Rise. Not because it's easy, but because you deserve better. Rise, because your dreams weren't given to you by accident. Rise, because someone out there needs your story. Rise because the world is waiting for the version of you who stops holding back. Rise so you can inspire. Inspire so others can rise. This is the cycle of strength. This is the legacy of every person who decides to believe in themselves again. This is your story, now your moment to rise and inspire.